Here's a Reddit story from the subreddit Relationship Advice. It's titled, "My husband's family keeps referring to me as his best friend. What does this mean?" My husband Robbie, 26 male, and I, 26 female, got married earlier this year. It was a beautiful day and I felt so much love and support from both sides of the family. 2 months after our wedding day, we celebrated my birthday at my in-laws' house. It was nothing major, just a dinner and a night together with me, my husband, his mom, 50s female, dad, 50 male, and sister, 22 female. That is the first night I noticed them referring to me as Robbie's best friend. After my birthday dinner, we were all sitting together in the living room just chatting and having some drinks. That's when my sister-in-law got a phone call from a good friend of hers. When she answered the phone and her friend asked what she was doing, she replied that it was her brother's best friend's birthday. I had never heard anyone refer to me as Robbie's best friend. I am his wife, and before that, we were engaged for over 2 years. Hearing my sister-in-law refer to me like that confused me greatly. I always refer to her as my sister-in-law, and I would expect her to do the same. Or maybe even Robbie's wife, but certainly not best friend. After my sister-in-law hung up her phone, I asked her why she referred to me the way she did. She did not seem at all bothered. She just said, "Well, you are best friends, and that's what mom and dad calls you," referring to mother-in-law and father-in-law. My sister-in-law and I are by no means very close, but we are nice to each other and have never had any fights. We just don't hang out outside of family functions because our personalities are pretty different. She's never made it seem like she was annoyed or mad at me. I decided to let it go that night, even though it weirded me out. But then it happened again a few days ago, which is why I'm writing this post. My mother-in-law and I both work in the same industry doing similar jobs, but at different companies in the area. Sometimes our companies cooperate when we have clients who switch over. This week, we had that happen, and I had to pay a visit to my mother-in-law's office to help a client transition. My mother-in-law was in the office, so I stopped by to say hello. While I was there, she introduced me to her colleague, and once again, I was perplexed by how she did it. She says, "This is my son's best friend." As I was shaking hands with a colleague, I paused and awkwardly said, "I'm his wife." The colleague looked confused and awkward, but my mother-in-law continued to smile and didn't address it. Once we were alone, I asked mother-in-law why she referred to me like that. Just like my sister-in-law, she didn't even act like it was weird at all and said the same thing. "Well, you are best friends." The only thing that I could think to explain this is that in my vows to Robbie, I promised to continue being his best friend. Nobody acted like this was odd or special, and I feel like it's a pretty common thing to put in vows. So I'm not sure why Robbie's family seemed to have clung to it, unless it has nothing to do with anything. I've spoken to Robbie about this too, and he is also perplexed by this. He asked his parents privately about it, and they gave him the same answer they've been giving me. It all just feels sort of like bullying behavior to me, but I've never felt a sense of this from them before. Are they calling me his best friend because they don't like the fact I'm his wife? Or is it some inside joke they've been in on without me? I'm not sure what to do or make of it, especially because the in-laws are acting like it's not an issue when I bring it up. Yes, I am Robbie's best friend, but I'm also his life partner, their daughter-in-law/sister-in-law. I don't know what to do. Any input or advice would be welcome. TLDR, my in-laws keep referring to me as my husband's best friend, but I am his wife and their daughter-in-law. They don't seem to think it's weird at all. I find this really weird. Why would the parent-in-laws and sister-in-law keep referring to OP as best friend? Clearly, she is their son or slash brother's wife. So maybe the OP does have a point. Maybe it's because they taken the whole best friend in her vows a little too weirdly. I don't know what to make of it either. I'm really confused by this. Anyways, let's see what the comment section have to say about this. The first comment says, how about just being straightforward? Yes, Robbie and I are best friends. Now that we are married, I would prefer that you refer to me as his wife, as I treasure our relationship. Thank you. I like that response. Another commenter says, came to say this exact same thing, and after that is said, continue to correct them if they use the best friend moniker again. Maybe at the next family gathering, present a united front. Both husband and wife as parents and sister-in-law to address the wife as Robbie's wife. Honestly, I think they are mocking the OP for the vows. That's the only explanation I can reasonably come up with. I agree. It's just weird. A follow-up comment to this is definitely feels mocking or passive-aggressive. Clearly, they didn't like something about the vowels. Another follow-up comment says, vowing to be each other's best friend is like the most common thing ever. Having a problem with that is like having a problem with the bride wearing white. What do you guys think is the reason why the in-laws are calling the OP best friend for their son? I would love to hear about it in the comments section. And remember, if you like these types of stories, continue to like and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys later.